This video is the fourth and final video on how to create event layers for Cityworks. It is going to cover some of the more complex SQL statements that you might be making. So, the first one I'm going to go over is a case statement. And a case statement asks a question. It's an if-then question. So if the data is this, then do this or show this result. So one of the things that I want to do in my query here is I want to look at the actual finish date and the date that the work order was closed. So I'm going to add both of those to my query here. So actual finish date and the date that the work order was closed. And I'm going to run this again. And you'll notice here that I've got some dates that are actually null. I do not have an actual finish date populated on some of these. And this would be the case also if I had a work order that was open. I would not have an actual finish date, nor would I have a date of the work order is closed. So I've got a case statement that I've already got made, and I'm going to copy it and paste it right in here, and then we can look at it. And you'll find this case statement on the PDF that I emailed out earlier. So this is saying that when the actual finish date is null and the date that the work order is null, then give it a value of 3000. So this would just be the year 3000, which would indicate that it's an open work order. And then the next part asks when the actual finish date is null, so in this case this one, and the date the work order is not null, then use the year of the work order closed. Otherwise, always use the actual finish date year. So I'm going to go ahead and run this. And I'm going to call it year 2. There. And you can see that the ones that were I was just extracting the year from the actual finish date that turned out to be null, they now actually are giving me a date. And if I were to come in here and I were to sort by the date the work order was closed, so these ones here, where the actual finish date is null and the work order date closed is null, because they're on an open work order, are now giving me a value of 3000. So I can symbolize on this second field here, year 2 in GIS, and show that any of them with a year of 3000, they're on an open work order. So that's a case statement, and you can ask a case statement of any type. It doesn't have to be a year or a date. It could be, if the value is system valves, then give it water, that sort of a question. So that is a case statement. Now the second thing I'm going to go over is a fiscal year. So our fiscal year runs from July 1st through the end of June. So I would be asking another case statement of my data, and it would be saying if the month of the date field is greater than 6, then check the year plus 1. If the month of the date field is less than 6, then just use the year of that date field. So I've already got this case statement built. I'm going to copy it in and paste it out. And it's incredibly long, so we won't be able to see all of it here. But you can see that it's starting to ask, like, when the month of the date of the work order is null, then 3000. When the month is null and the month of this is greater than 6, then the year of the date work order closed plus 1. So it's a pretty lengthy case statement, and you'll find it in that PDF I sent out earlier. So I'm going to go ahead and give this an alias of fiscal year, and I'm going to go ahead and run that. And so you'll see here most of the values look the same between the 2 years, but I bet if I scroll down I'm going to start to see some differences. Okay, so here you can see that, in the month of December, the fiscal year is actually 2013. So now we're returning the correct fiscal year versus the actual calendar year. So that would be how to extract the fiscal year out of your date fields. Now the next thing to go over is what if I just want these to only return the current year's worth of records. So that would be considered a filter. So I've got this already made up over here, and I'm going to come and do it to my year 2 field. So I'm going to filter off of the year of the current timestamp. Now the current timestamp is actually looking at the operating system time on the server or PC that the SQL database is running. So it's going out and it's grabbing this time basically here, and it's using it to calculate things here. And I'm just looking at the year. So if the year of this field is equal to the year of this date right here, it's going to return just those results. So right now we've got 12,000 results. I'm going to run this, and you'll see now that I'm only returning 2014 records. Now on January 1st of 2015, if I left this query alone, it would automatically only start to show the 2015 records. So this is a way to filter off of just the current year. And you can also do this as a case statement here where you would put in the current fiscal year or something like that. The other thing that you might want to filter off of is the date difference. So here I've got a field. We're going to look at it. So this date difference is calculating the difference in months, this is the M, between the actual finish date and the current timestamp. So the current timestamp, once again, would be this time on my actual computer. So I'm going to call this month of date difference, and I'm going to run this. So you can see here that these work orders done in January, they've been done 5 months ago, 4 months ago, 3 months ago, such as that. So this will calculate the difference in, and you can do anything here. You could put in days, months, years, weeks, whatever you would like. So if I were to take up my current timestamp and I said I actually only want to know anything that's been done within the last 6 months, and run my query this way, you'll now start to see that it's looking and it's finding anything done within the last 6 months. And once again, since this is always automatic or fresh or up to date, as soon as that next month hits, as soon as I were to turn over the next month on that first, the oldest month would drop off and a new month would start over. So then in your GIS, you can start to symbolize these off of the month date difference, and I would just do, this month, last month, 1 month ago, things like that. So this is a way to start filtering and grouping these down even more to match more closely the operations and maintenance programs that you run. So this is the last and final part of my enhanced event layers for Cityworks. If you have any questions, please feel free to give me a call or email me, and I can go to my contact information here. I appreciate you taking the time to listen. Thank you.